splendor of the King, clothed in majesty. Let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God! And all will see how great is our God. Day to age he stands, time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God! And all will see how great is our God. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God! And all will see how great is our God. You are name above all names. You are worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing how great is our God. Yes, you are name above all names, so worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing how great is our God. How great is our God! Sing with me, how great is our God! And all will see how great is our God.
Your presence You must be so disappointed today. Yeah. I'm glad I haven't spoken to Katie at all about what she was going to say or sing, but she was saying about grace. Well, my heading today is grace. So, I'm just going to read you something. A Spanish father decides to be reconciled with his son, who had run away to Madrid. Now remorseful, the father takes out this ad in the El Liberal newspaper. Paco, meet me at Hotel Montana, noon, Tuesday. All is forgiven, Papa. Paco is a common name in Spain, and when the father goes to the square, he finds 800 young men named Paco waiting for their fathers. I was just thinking, we need grace, don't we? We need grace in the world. Just read a couple of verses from Ephesians 2 verse 8. It says, "For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God." So nothing we can do. When God shows us grace, it's nothing to do with us, what we've done. It's just through God. And Hebrews 4:16 says, "Let us approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need." I was looking this morning about grace, and why do we say grace when we have food? And it said this: saying grace before a meal is a way of saying thank you to God for making the earth and everything in it. All good things come from God, and it is up to us to use them in the very best and most generous way. Anything we have, we should use in the most generous way. And the song that we started off communion with, the first line of it is this, or the first verse: "I know not why God's wondrous grace to me hath been made known, nor why, unworthy as I am, he claimed me for his own." Why is God so gracious to us? C.S. Lewis said, "To be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable, because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you." Do we do that? Do we show that sort of grace to others? Do we forgive the inexcusable? We can think, I'll forgive so much, but if anything goes beyond that, I will not forgive it. We should forgive the inexcusable because God has forgiven the inexcusable in us. Actually, I've been really impressed with this church because I think we do show that grace to one another. When someone falls or something goes wrong, someone needs help. I've seen that grace shown to people. And it's very encouraging when you do see that sort of grace. It's all too easy, isn't it, to pick up a stone, a verbal stone, and want to throw it. Like the woman who was caught in adultery, and they were going to stone her. And Jesus says, "Let him without sin cast the first stone." But it's all too easy for us to pick up something, a verbal stone, to chuck at someone. One of the things, I feel like Del Boy actually, because I always say my dad said, and Del Boy used to, when he wanted to really validate something, he used to say to Rodney, "Your mother said on her deathbed." Anyway, my dad did say, the biggest bricks you can get thrown at you are from people inside the church. And if we fight amongst ourselves, I heard about, there was 2 gazelles fighting, and they weren't watching out, and they didn't see the lion. that then attacked them and killed them. You know, they were fighting amongst themselves, and we can do that in church, can't we, sometimes? We can fight amongst ourselves. Our guard is down, and disaster. You know, who have I criticised this week just by saying something? Or who have you criticised just because they've fallen short or done something wrong? In that song, one of the songs we sung up there, it said, love has no limits and grace has no measure, but sometimes we can put limits on it, can't we? You know, we'll only forgive so much. God's grace means we receive what we don't deserve. Now, do you easily get offended when someone says something to you? Do you easily get offended? I was speaking to someone just about 4 weeks ago, and they said, I don't want to see you anymore. Now, I don't know whether you would have been offended by that, and but I, just let it go. Because actually the feeling was mutual. I didn't want to see him anymore. And I'd known him for 15 years. And the reason why I didn't want to see him anymore, because he was my haematology oncologist. It's 15 and a half years ago, I was diagnosed with incurable non-follicular Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4. And apparently there is no stage 5. I had a tumour the size of a grapefruit in my abdomen. On the 15th of January that year, 2008, I started 6 months of chemo. And when I finished the chemo, I was told that I would need more treatment after about 2 years, or maybe 2 to 5 years. And my life expectancy was 10 years. Maybe even 15. So I decided at that time I would just try and keep healthy, eat healthily, keep fit, cut out all stress in my life, with one exception, still being married to Monica. It's all right, she's not here. And I can trust you, can't I? And pray a lot. And so I was doing those things, and then Monica had heard about this raw diet. And I thought, well, there's no way I want to go on any wacky diet. So I was just going to eat healthy and trust God. But in February 2009, it's 8 months after I finished chemo, Monica and I went to Australia to see her brother Rob. At that time I was thinking, well, this is easy what I was doing, because I was just cutting out a few things. And I thought, is there anything more I can do? But, not wanting to go on that strange diet. Anyway, while we were out there, Rob said, do you want to go on the Great Ocean Road trip? So we said, yeah, okay. So we went from Sydney down to Melbourne, which is about 550 miles. And then we started travelling along the south coast. And it was really nice views and terrific place. We were staying at different lodges on the way. And one evening, Monica saw some shops and she said, let's stop here and get some food for the night. So Monica went in the shop and bought a few things. And then when she came out, she said, the woman in there, I started talking to her, and she owns the shop, and she's the author of the Primitive Diet book. And I thought it was a bit too much of a coincidence. We had travelled 15,500 miles around the other sides of the world, and then another 650 roughly to where this shop was. I could never find it again. And we had bumped into this woman who was the author of one of these books, the Primitive Diet book. So when I got home, I thought, maybe God was guiding me to that person. I'll try this for 6 weeks, eating mainly raw food. And I still am eating mainly raw food. After I'd started that diet, when I got back, after I had to see the oncologist, had to see him every 3 months. And they always weigh you when you go in there. And I thought, well, since I've been on this raw diet, I've lost a stone, I'll have to tell him. So I said, oh, by the way, I've lost a bit of weight because I'm on this diet. And he said, why? Just like that. I said, oh, well, it's all right to be on a healthy diet and eat healthy. He says, well, as long as you don't become a bore. So that's why I don't often mention it. And anyway, then the checkups went to 6 months, and then they went to a year. And after 10 years, this oncologist said to me, and these are exact words, well, it's been 10 years now, and you're still well. Now, nowadays we give patients rituximab as a maintenance drug, but as you're still well after 10 years with no medication, we're going to have to rethink that. Not taking into consideration anything that I did, because I never mentioned it again. Now it's over 15 years, and I think I'm a bit of a conundrum to them. But this is, I've got a doctor's letter here. It says private and confidential, so don't tell anyone about this. It says, because he has to send this to my local doctor, it says, Mr. Ursel came to the clinic for a review today, and he is well in himself, and there is no sign of a relapse. His low-grade lymphoma. It has been many years since he needed active treatment, and I think that it's not unreasonable to discharge him now, with open access if needed. And then he goes on to say, traditionally speaking, follicular lymphoma is an incurable disease, but some patients do respond well. There is definitely a few patients who never relapse, but this is usually in older patients who die of something else. We will see. So, very, very encouraging. But what I thought, when I was ill, I didn't think, why me? Why was I ill? I just thought, well, that's one of those things. But since I haven't had any relapse, I thought, well, why me? You know, since I told Monica and Abby I was going to talk about this, we had a great discussion on whether I really should say anything to you, because there's a lot of people that don't get healed. And so why me? There's a guy, Timothy Keller, who's just recently died. I don't know whether you know it. He's a pioneer evangelist, and he's written many books. And he had pancreatic cancer, and a lot of people were praying for him, and he said he prayed twice a day for complete healing. And he died on the 19th of May. George Verwood died this year, who was the founder of Operation Mobilisation. There's far more deserving people to be healed than me, so why me? Why have I been given a few more years? But yes, I mean, I don't know. But we will all have a time in our lives when we won't be healed, won't we? Every one of us. There will be a time when we won't be healed. Until we go to heaven and be completely healed. Now, what happened to me might not be right for anyone else, you know, what I'm doing. But for me, I believe God guided me in that way. And God does guide us in a way, doesn't he? He doesn't actually, maybe you don't hear him speak, but because of your situation, the people you meet, God guides you. In fact, what I'm saying now, I started writing on Monday, thinking that I'll write this, because I just felt burdened about it. And I thought, in case someone can't come to speak at church. And then Friday, I heard that Ruth couldn't come. It reminded me just quickly of story in the Bible, Naaman. Naaman, he was a commander and a valiant soldier, and it says, but he had leprosy. And a young servant girl, an Israelite, said, go and see the prophet in Samaria. He can cure you. And Naaman thought, great. So he went to the king. He wasn't listening, was he? He had to go to the prophet. When he finally went to the prophet, Elijah didn't even go out to see him. He just sent a messenger down to him and said, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times. And he thought, washing the Jordan? No way, that's a filthy river. What about rivers of Abana and Pharpar? They're much better. Why can't I go there? And he started to go home. And someone said, look, if he asked you to do something great, you'd go and do it. Why not go and wash? So he did. It wasn't the water that healed him, was it? And it wasn't the prophet that healed him. It was God that healed him, but he had to obey. He had to go and do what God was telling him to do. Naaman was healed in that river. But why him? He was an enemy of Israel. But God chose him to be healed. There were plenty of people in Israel at the time that would need healing, weren't there? But he didn't heal them. He healed Naaman. One day, as I say, we will be completely healed. Billy Graham said, one day you'll hear that I have died. Don't believe a word of it. I will be more alive then than I ever have been. And in that book that I just read out of, What's So Amazing About Grace, it says, grace is not about finishing last or first. It's about not counting. Grace is not about finishing first or last. It's just about not counting. You know, we will never know, we'll never understand everything, but we have to trust in God. Okay.
You were the Word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus Christ. beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is, the name